Hi guys, here's my story time on why me and my best friend are not best friends anymore. We stopped being friends like 2 months ago and I wasn't gonna make a story time because I'm not that kind of person, but at this point, she's posting story times and the stories are very false and not true. And it's very sad that she's making things up about me online, considering we were best friends for so long and I still have a lot of love for her. But I do not like being lied about, especially not on the internet. So a little backstory, we've been best friends for like years, and there was this guy that she was very off and on with, so that's my backstory. But basically it'd been like a month since we had talked because she was kind of just like avoiding me, not reaching out, like kind of just doing her own thing. And I'd try to reach out to her, I'd try to hang out, and she would not like hang out with me or anything. Like, it was very one-sided. So there was this one night, I think it was Good Friday, that me and my one friend were shopping at Target, and we happened to run into that one guy that she'd been off and on with and his best friend. Also, by the way, I have known this guy since elementary school. He was in my kindergarten class, so like if I see him in public, I'll like say hi. We're not friends or anything, but like, yeah. Although the friend that I was with at the time was kind of friends with him and his one friend, so we stopped and kind of just like talked to them for a minute. And it had never once crossed my mind to text her and tell her that we saw them in the store. First of all, because I did not think that it meant anything. Second of all, she had not texted me for like a month. And then like a few weeks later, I texted her and asked her if she still wanted to see Morgan Wallen with me, and she said no. And then she texted me saying, I know you hung out with on Good Friday. I basically just like apologized and explained my side of the story, telling her like it wasn't a hangout, like it wasn't a planned hangout, we ran into them. My other friend was also friends with them, and that I hadn't thought to text her, all because she hadn't texted me or put in any effort into our friendship. And she kind of just switched it up on me and told me that she hadn't put any effort into our friendship because I talked about my ex-boyfriend too much, and apparently it was like draining for her. But by the way, my boyfriend of 2 years had just broken up with me, so I just assumed that like my best friend would be there for me. So I'm sorry that was draining, but I'm not exactly sure how she knows we ran into them at Target, but I don't really care. And no, it does not seem that deep, but apparently it was to her because she made multiple TikToks. She made a whole story time saying how like, oh, my best friend ruined our friendship for a night of fun. So she was kind of implying that I like literally like got with him even though I just ran into him in Target. But yeah, I'm not the kind of person to like come out and like post this kind of stuff, but I'm kind of getting tired of her posting like at least one TikTok a day of her saying like, oh, like what happened to girl code, blah blah blah. It's just very frustrating because I truly wish nothing but the best for her, but it's kind of sad that she's making stuff up about me. And I was never gonna post this, but it's been 3 months and she's posted 2 times yesterday about me. So I was like, you know what? And I have not spoken to that guy since Black Friday or Good Friday, I don't know. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my story time. Love you guys, bye.
On the way to our anniversary dinner, I found out my high school boyfriend tried cheating on me with multiple different girls the night before, and our friends knew about it, so here's the story time. So whenever we dated, he was friends with this one guy, and he had a girlfriend too, and all 4 of us would always hang out together. And so one day, they invited him to go to the hot tub, and he was really big about just like having time with his friends, even though the girl was my friend too. I was like, okay, yeah, cool, like I'll go to another one with some of my girlfriends, like have fun. And I trusted her a lot. Him and we split off, and I go to the hot tub, and I'm assuming he's going to the hot tub too because his curfew is 10:30. And so I'm at the hot tub, I'm hanging out with my girlfriends. I'm looking at his location, I'm like, that's weird, like he's still not at the hot tub, like it's already like 9 o'clock, you know, like he's not gonna have much time. Instead he's at Target, like I wonder what he needs from there. I go back to my girlfriend's place, I'm like, you know what, let's have a sleepover. So I'm starting to get anxious, I'm like, why do I have this pit in the bottom of my stomach? Like this is weird. Check his location again, and he is at the hot tub finally, but I'm like, it's 10:30, like you should be home by now, like you have a curfew. He's like barely answering me, telling me his phone is gonna die, saying it's just him, his guy friend, and then the girl that I'm also friends with. I check his location again and I see another girl there, his ex-girlfriend. I text him and he's like, oh no, she's just there because I invited her. Like, I promise, like, nothing's happening. I'm staying far away from her. Like, you have nothing to worry about. Little did I know he was literally grabbing her butt, like, trying to be all over her. She has a boyfriend. She's not interested in him, but he keeps making attempts. I end up going to sleep. I'm so anxious. I have a dream that he's literally getting with this ex-girlfriend. And so I wake up from this nightmare of him cheating on me with this girl. I check his location and he's at his friend's house that's right down the street from where I'm staying. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. I thought you had to go home. And he's like, oh no, like, I'm having a sleepover here. And I'm like, oh my god, well, you should come sneak out and we could hang out because you're right down the street. And he's like, oh no, I'm really tired. Like, I'm just trying to go to sleep. So the next day I wake up and he comes to pick me up from my friend's house. And I'm like, I'm so excited. Like, it's our anniversary. Like, we're gonna have such a fun day. I'm like, you know what's weird? Like, I had a dream that you got with your ex-girlfriend at the hot tub last night. And he's like, you're crazy. Like, that's insane. Like, that would never happen. Then we start hanging out for the day because we're gonna hang out all day because it's our anniversary. I realize he's not on his phone at all. I'm like, oh, where's your phone? He's like, oh, I lost it. Now looking back, he definitely just lost it because he had added a bunch of girls on Snap and he didn't want me to see that. And it's finally time for our anniversary dinner. So I start getting ready for our anniversary dinner and we get in the car. We're on the way out of our neighborhood and out of nowhere I check my phone. I have a bunch of comments on my latest Instagram post being like, your boyfriend tried to get with my girlfriend, like, he needs to back off. And then I check my Snapchat and I have a message from one of my friends being like, girl, our mutual friend tried getting with him last night. I like tell him to stop the car. I'm like, what the heck, like, did this happen? He's like, no, this didn't happen. And then I look at him and I'm like, I have screenshots. And he just, like, his whole demeanor changes. He starts bawling his eyes out. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, what the heck, like, why would you do this to me? And then he's like, I just don't want you anymore. Like, I'm gonna break up with you today anyways. And I'm like, okay, so if you were gonna break up with me today, why didn't you do that before you tried getting with other people? Then I'm trying to convince him to stay with me, even though he's the one who cheated on me. And he's telling me he doesn't want me anymore. And so I look him in his face and I'm like, you know what? You're still taking me out to dinner and we're still going to the arcade. It's exactly what we did. Basically, what ended up happening that night from his perspective, he went to Target literally just to get girls' Snapchats. And then they went to the hot tub together and he was there. He was flirting her up the whole night. She was not interested. Then he went back to his friend's house and he's literally like flirting with all these girls. And he reaches out to one of my friends asking her to sneak out and go to Whataburger. And then he's also flirting with that girl from the hot tub being like, hey, like, you should come over and stuff. And she's like, I'm not interested. And she took photos of all of this. And there was other girls he was texting the night too. And every single one rejected him. So that same time I was asking him to sneak out, he was literally asking other girls to sneak out. And my dream was dead on.
All right, I want to tell a story about one of my many bad dates because this one popped back into my head recently and it's just been on my mind. So a while back, I went on 3 dates with this one guy. And the third date is when the issue started happening, all right? So for some background, me and this guy went on our first date on a Saturday. We went on another date that same Tuesday, and then we went out again that same Friday, all right? So 3 times within a 6-day period, me and this guy went out, okay? So obviously for me to have gone on so many dates with this guy, obviously, like, we got along fine. And our third date was actually pretty good. So it was a dinner date. He came and he picked me up and then we went to this restaurant and the whole dinner was good. You know, we had good conversation. We got to know each other more, like talking about work. It was a good standard date. And when we were on the date, I decided to be flirty per se. And I was like, oh, you've been on any other good dates this week? And he says, yeah, I went on one yesterday. Like I said, we went on a date Saturday, Tuesday, and Friday. And he's saying, oh, I went on a date yesterday, Thursday. He didn't go on a date with me. I was watching Traitors with my friends. No. I just looked at him and I said, what? And he says, I thought you were saying you went on another date this week. I said, yeah, with you. That dinner table went silent. It was so awkward. Dude, I don't think that my face gets red, but I was my face felt hot. And he's just sitting there looking at his hands. And there's windows behind him, and I'm just looking out the window. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to say anything. Like, this dude needs to speak up. If you were to go on another date that same week, why would you tell me? Why am I going to break the uncomfortable silence? No. Don't tell them, okay? No shame in going on multiple dates in 1 week. I'm not going to sit here and act like I've never done that. That wasn't the issue. The issue is oh my God. No, the issue is that he told me. He should have lied. I would go to my grave with that information. I would never tell somebody else I had been on a date earlier that week, much less the day before. But now you're telling me you went on 4 dates in a 6-day period? That's a whole other thing. What? We're sitting there in silence, and I'm just sitting here thinking about all this stuff. Like, what the hell is happening? And he's sitting looking at his hands, and then he finally says something, and this is where I blacked out. I don't remember what I said to this man, but I just looked at him, and I was like, oh, I was stern. I didn't raise my voice shockingly. I was like, I don't know who the hell you think you're messing with. Don't try and play in my face. You're the one that's saying I'm so out of your league. You're so surprised that you got a date with me and you're taking another girl out when clearly things were going fine between us. You couldn't have waited one more day to take her out after our date? Dude, whatever. And it's just awkward. And I'm starting to get like upset. And I was like, we just need to leave. Next, we're walking to his car and we get in his car and he starts driving and it's just silence. I'm starting to get pissed. I'm still hot, right? So I say, you don't have shit to say to me? Oh, well, I just ruined my chances with you. Blah, 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 blah. Like I said, there's not an issue with him going on 2 dates in 1 week. It's just, why would you tell me that? He should have freaking lied about it, and I stand by that. So he's saying, oh, I can't believe I blew my chances with you and stuff. And I'm like, well, it's not like you blew your chances. You're not even asking what you can do to make up for this. This is where I will take some fault in this situation. I don't know how it ended up on this, honestly. I looked at him and I said, you have to spend $50 on me and get me flowers. And he said he would do it. And he said he would do it. Because here's the other thing. If you're taking another girl out on a date, invest a little bit more in me. Because I've never had somebody do that for me, like just buy me a gift. And I understand early on, whatever. But if you want my attention and you buy me a gift, you'll have my attention. If I'm so great, I'm so out of your league, and you want things to work out with me so bad and you want another chance so bad, spend the money that you spent on that other date on me. I sent him a link to the Sephora. Sent him a link to the Sephora Sol de Janeiro. It's the purple one. $39. I discounted him. I said 50. I'm sending him 39. All right. And he's like, we had a whole conversation. I mean, none of that is even relevant. But yes, this is what he said he would do when he dropped me off. And he said, is this the only way that like I could have another chance? And I just said, do what you want. I'm not going to force this guy to do it. Do what you want. So the last thing that's said between us is do what you want from me to him. So the next morning, you can imagine what happened. And this is what I predicted would happen. The next morning he texts me and he's just like, I've enjoyed getting to know you, but I don't like your expectations. I wish you the best. Something like that. And I just responded like, I understand where you're coming from. Like, that's fine. I'm sorry if I made you feel uncomfortable or anything because I just wanted to be nice. And then he responds again and he says, I appreciate you saying that, but I'm still not comfortable with it. Nobody was trying to run it back, dude. What? Yeah, so my story was over and I was not near done getting ready, so I finished getting ready. But no, I never heard from him again. We never went out again. And the moral of this story is, if a guy says that he went on a date with another girl, try to get him to buck up, because here's the reality. He went on a date with another girl the day before and he's already telling you about it. And if you're feeling upset about it, just move on to the next one. Because my belief is, with every guy I've actually dated, after the first date, they know. And we have been on multiple dates. So just let it go and try to get money out of it at least. And then maybe you can reconsider.
Hi, trigger warning, I'm going to be talking about miscarriage. I found out I was pregnant a few weeks ago, and Wednesday I had a private ultrasound scheduled just because I didn't want to wait till March. I wanted to make sure that it's in the right place and like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. And she couldn't find it. So she finally found it, but it was just like strange. She was like, you're measuring way earlier. Like, I was supposed to be 6 weeks. I was measuring like almost 5, like right at 5 weeks. So I was like, oh, like that's weird. And they were trying to, I don't know. So the next day I'm cleaning and I go to the bathroom and I'm bleeding. So I'm like, okay, I just need a RhoGAM shot because I'm Rh negative and I had to do that with my son. I was bleeding with my son. I was like, it's the same thing. Like it'll be fine. Like, I'm just gonna get the shot and everything's gonna be okay. So we go to the hospital because I don't have an OB yet from when they like called my husband's ex-wife. And they draw my blood and I get an ultrasound. They come back and they're like, so there's no baby, like at all. We can't find it. And your HCG's at 110, period. And I'm supposed to be over 6 weeks. So it's supposed to be like at least 1,000, which is still low. So I'm like, shit, like, I know what this means, you know? And keep in mind, while they're telling me this, I feel like a zoo animal on display because they put me in the hallway, like a little recliner in the hallway in front of the nurse's station. So she walks off and immediately the nurses at the nurse's station were like holding each other. I could see them. There's like a little mirror in the corner. And they're like, oh, we're mother and child, and like talking about babies and like making jokes and stuff. And I don't know. I'm sure it wasn't about me, but it felt very like, I felt hit because I'm sitting here just getting literally 30 seconds before getting told that I'm having a miscarriage. And then y'all are like doing that. It just put a bad taste in my mouth. So yeah, I went home and today's Sunday, I think. I don't really know what day it is, but yesterday I passed the baby, and it was the most painful thing ever. It was so painful. Why does that hurt so bad? And I'm still in pain. My uterus is still contracting. So yeah, I'm gonna go get my levels redrawn and another ultrasound. I was supposed to go last night, but I'll probably do that today or tomorrow. I just can't, like, I haven't really gotten out of bed because of how sad I've been. Yeah. So that's that. This sucks really bad. My husband's sister was born sleeping. And so I kind of just been telling myself that she needed a friend. And yeah. I don't know, who knows, maybe next month I'll be pregnant again and everything will be fine, but I'm still gonna be mourning the loss of my baby that we didn't get to meet. And I know inside of my mailbox right now is the sneak peek gender result, like, test. I didn't take the test, thank God, but it's in the mailbox right now. And I'm probably never gonna check my mail again, so.
I got married at 19 in secret after 2 months of dating my now husband. So yes, when I was 19 and my husband was 20 years old, we went to the courthouse and got married without anybody knowing. We ended up, it was because he was going into the army at the time, and I was also looking into going into the army. So I was going into the army at the time, he was going into the army at the time, and we were told by a recruiter that if we get married, we would be able to be dual military and be stationed in the same duty station. So we both ended up, like, going through all of the things, and we got married, like, in a courthouse. He ended up proposing to me on Valentine's Day with a ring pop. And then we got married 6 days later at the courthouse. So basically, like, I bought a dress, kept the tags on, and then returned it after. So I don't even have, like, my wedding dress. I wonder if anybody else does that. If anybody else has done that, let me know. Oh, that was such an odd decision. Anyway, so we were like, okay, well, let's get married, but like, we're both so young, and we were only dating, like, officially for 2 months at that time. So we knew that everybody was not gonna necessarily agree with our marriage. So we were like, okay, we're gonna get married in secret, and then when it comes time, we'll just, like, pretend like, oh, we're getting married, he proposed to me, oh, here's our wedding, even though we would already be married. Well, that didn't turn out too well, because he ended up going to basic, and when he was in basic, he called me up and he was like, hey, they actually lied to us, and we would not be stationed in the same duty station. Especially because he was going in for a completely different MOS than I was going into. Like, he was going into, like, a combat role, and I was going to be going into an intelligence role. So it was just gonna, like, no, that's not how it works. But the recruiter was trying to get us to go into the military, and he was going to say anything that he could. Anyway, so we were already married at that point, and we figured out, uh-oh, our plan is not going to work. So luckily it was right before I signed my contract. It was like the day before I was about to sign my contract. And so he was like, nope, don't do it. Don't sign the contract. Like, the only way that we can be together is if you don't go into the military and you follow me to my duty station. So I was like, okay, sure. But I made the mistake while I was on a phone call with him. He was on speaker, and he said a particular acronym, which only refers to you, like, if you're married. He said, like, something about BAH, which is basic allowance for housing, and you only get that if you're married. Well, my mom was also a military brat and married to someone in the military. And so she heard the term BAH and knew what that meant. So my mom found out that I was married by looking at the public registry online and seeing that I, in fact, was married. And then my husband's parents found out because once my mom found out, we were like, now we have to tell his parents. So he ended up writing a letter to them, and they found out via letter that we were married. Yeah. It was a whirlwind, especially because my mom was receiving child support at the time. And child support ends as soon as your child is no longer your dependent, which once you're married, you're no longer your parents' dependent. So I was married for like a solid year before my father found out that I was married. And then once my father found out that I was married, he sued my mom for the amount of child support that he was paying to her within that year that I was married. Fun story. Am I right? Well, it ends really well because me and my husband are still married. We're about to celebrate our 9-year marriage anniversary, in less than 2 weeks. So it all worked out in the end. If you guys have any questions, want to hear any more details about this, go ahead and leave a comment. And I will try to give you guys some more story times if this is what you guys want to see. Have a wonderful Wednesday.
So picture it. I'm in college, being a little shithead, and my boyfriend at the time is like, oh, I know that we're happily together, but I promised this girl that I would take her to her dance, her formal. She's in a different sorority. I can't let her down. Like, she knows we're together. It's not going to be a big deal. And I was like, oh, it's totally fine. Like, I'm not one of those girls that panics. It's fine. So he's going to the formal. His friends are like, come to the bar with us. Let's go. So we go to the bar, which oddly enough is the farthest walk away from campus living. And we're all at the bar. He said he was going to meet us there. Like, he would just, as soon as the bus got back from the formal, he was going to meet us there. The time is ticking away. It's like 11, it's 12, it's getting late. The bus got back at like fucking 10. Where are you? His friends are looking sus and texting on their phones. I'm getting bad vibes. They're all like giving kind of apologetically like, do you want to get another drink? Weird. So I'm like, I'm walking home. Like, I'm going home. Get home. Well, not get home. Get to like my little street for Crossway. And mind you, I lived in a house called G-Spot across from where my sorority house was. My friend lives in said sorority house. She is waiting out front and like flags my ass down. Mind you, this is my dear precious best friend who is not your typical sorostitute sister. No, her and I both were like, we're only joining to see if we can get into this because we're like the good old boys club. So she's flagging me down. I go over and she's like, I need to tell you something. You're not going to like it. I saw your boyfriend making out with that chick. I don't know what's going on. I need you to understand that it's not a joke. I'm not guessing. I had someone text me that they saw him hooking up with someone, and then I saw it with my own 2 eyes. I was chalk drawing outside, and I saw him. We need to go confront him. What? What? I panic. I'm crying. I'm like trying to compute while still a little shrunk. And she's like, no, we're going now. Drags my ass to his house. We go inside, get to the door. She's like, you know the door code. Makes me plug that code in. We go in. He's in his lofted bed with another woman. I'm bawling my eyes out. She's climbing the loft, my homegirl. And she slaps him and then slaps the girl for good measure too, yelling at me to get my shit. So she makes me collect my shit. I collect all my shit. We got the back of the house, and that's where all the cars are parked. She's like, which one's his car? I'm looking right at it. I'm like, it's not here. She's like breaking a bottle ready to slash every single tire. It was a horrific but also wonderful experience. Mind you, creepily after that fact, he like showed up like a half an hour later to the sorority house. I'm like, it's not like you immediately scurried. You were like, let me finish what I was doing. Ugh. Fast forward, I did end up getting my revenge later. I removed the no contact order of our situation, and very calculatedly, we hit him up. We started talking. I'm like, let's meet up. You're right. I'll give you another chance. So we meet up. We spend the entire day together. And he thinks like we're getting back together. I'm fully gonna like give him a chance. He's forgiven. He has me hanging out with all of his friends, introducing everybody, or me to everybody. Like, she finally agreed to be my girlfriend again. La la la, whatever. The whole night goes on. We're like schmoozing the whole day. And then when we get back to, he walks back to my house. I'm like, I want to take things slow. I'm not gonna invite you in. Cool, whatever. He gives me a kiss goodnight, departs. My plan then comes into full fruition. Like, it is going forward. I packed up all of my shit because it was about to be Thanksgiving. I think it was Thanksgiving. It was a holiday, like I was gonna be gone for a week, going home. Packed up all my shit, and right before I left, in like the middle of the night, posted Facebook official in a relationship with my at-home boyfriend, because let's be so for real, I told him everything going on, told him what I planned to do, and he was like, hell yeah, ruin him. So yeah, immediately after that, he had to have the public just outcome of, I posted I'm in a relationship with someone else. You were just traipsing me around, acting all proud, high and mighty. She's finally forgiving me, Rebecca. It's fine, he's bald now. It's a whole thing. To make a long story short, that amazing human being is my friend Sarah, who I've always called Slaughterdale. We were close, ridiculously close, all throughout college. We're those friends that didn't see each other a ton, but it would be a phone call and no time passed. Like, always, like, there's seamless union of friendship. I had not seen my little Bop Tart in, I think, almost 10 years, maybe a little less than that. 'Cause I remember I visited her like in San Fran after the fact. She was living there for a minute, but we finally have our reunion, and with my husband. She got to meet my husband. She was like, this makes sense. Oh my goodness, finally you figured shit out. And yeah, it's one of those grateful moments of having an epic friend who's tied to the lore of some of your worst moments but made some of your best moments coming back in your life.
I was supposed to go on a date today at 12 p.m. with a 34-year-old man. We agreed on 12. Around 11, he said, hey, I'm going to go get my hair cut before the date. I was like, interesting choice. I'd love to see how the timing aligns there. I get to the date at 11:45, punctual, because I'm a grown-up, and I am where I say I'm going to be when I'm going to be there. Bitch. He texts me at 11:49, hey, I'm going to be running a little bit behind. I just got to the barber. No problem. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe like 10, 15, 20 minutes he'll be late, whatever. I tell my friends, and they're like, I don't know, girl, that sounds kind of bad. He's 34, can't tell the time. So it gets to be like almost 12:30, and I'm like, never mind. Because he had dropped his location, and he was 30 minutes away. Now, I don't know how long it takes for men to get their hair cut, but I'm sure they're in there chopping it up like, yeah, man, low taper fade on the side, I'm about to go fuck this bitch. Anyway, so I tell him, like, never mind. You're already going to be like 45 minutes late. This is kind of stupid to me. I feel kind of like my time's not respected right now. He's like, that's interesting. You couldn't even FaceTime me earlier either. And I was like, first of all, I was getting my oil changed earlier. That's why I couldn't FaceTime you. He's like, I just think it's weird that you canceled on the date and you couldn't FaceTime. I think I see what the situation is here. Please do tell me. I'd love to know, Christopher Columbus. Tell me. He said, I think you just don't feel pretty about yourself today. Are you for real?
Okay, now hear me out. I need some advice. So I have a friend who is married, mind you, but she is very touchy with my husband. Like she touches him multiple times that they're together for like 5 minutes. And it's like hard because she's married to my husband's friend. Like we're all friends, but it's like getting to the point where she's like touching him like a lot. And like even when he like moves around like the couch, she'll like follow him and stand next to him. Like, what do I do? And I can only post this on here because I don't want her to see it. I don't want her to like feel bad, but also it makes me feel so uncomfortable. Like now I'm at the point where I'm getting anxiety every time she's coming over because I'm like, how much are you gonna touch him? And I'm not worried about like him, but I don't know, like why would you feel okay being so touchy with somebody's husband? Like, what do I do? She's a good friend too. Like I don't want to lose that friendship, but also I don't want you touching my husband.
Okay, don't mind me, I just got sprayed. But I did not think that video was gonna blow up like it did. I just honestly wanted to get advice on it because it's such a hard situation. But like thinking back now, I saw like where I probably should have had some red flags earlier on, like how she would say like, "Oh, you look so cute" to him in his outfits. And I'm like, he's in a running outfit. Like, why would you say that? Or like, I guess just all the times where she was like, "Oh, you should send your husband over with your kids so they could eat dinner at my house." I always thought like, oh, just like assume the good, but I don't anymore. Honestly, she is on a trip for like a few days, and so when she comes back, I guess if she says anything, I'll probably write a message to her or say it in person, like all the advice that I gotten on here. But yeah, it's super hard also because her kids and my daughter are like best friends. So it's like there's so many layers that make it hard. Literally woke up with a huge cold sore because I've been so stressed about the stuff that I've been posting about. But basically, my husband and I came up with the plan that we're just gonna like take space from this couple for like a few weeks, and then when we get together, if she does it again, I'm just gonna call her out like in person and be like, "Hey, can you actually not be so like touchy with them? It makes me feel weird," because then I think it'll kind of like shock her. But I've been talking to a lot of people about it, and they all feel the same way that I do, like that it's just weird. So it makes me feel better. The whole reason I hopped on here was because I was like, am I being like crazy, or am I being like, I don't know, I just felt weird about it. But I feel better now because I'm like, I know that it really is something inside me is saying that something is wrong. I don't think my husband is interested at all, but it's still just a hard situation.
I'm giving you guys a story time on the worst date that I've ever been on and how I accidentally financed a stranger's 5-course meal. So I go out on a date with this guy at a restaurant, a very nice restaurant. It's very fancy. Dim lights, like cloth napkins. Menu doesn't even have a price on it. Red flag number 1 should have been how comfortable he looked. The waiter comes over before I can even process the menu, and he just begins ordering. This man orders calamari, truffle fries, and cocktail shrimp the second she walks up to the table. I'm thinking, okay, we're sharing, you know, like he's ordering for me. That's real cute. No, that was for him. Those were his appetizers. Then he orders a smoked old-fashioned, chugs that, orders another drink, and a couple more drinks prior to the food even coming out. At this point, I've ordered one simple entree because that's normal. Food starts coming out, and this man is eating like he is filming a food review or something. Then for his main course, this man orders a steak. Not just any steak, the most expensive steak on the menu. Along with the steak, he orders several sides. He added on lobster tail, he added on mac and cheese, Brussels sprouts, mashed potatoes. We're sitting there eating, and I'm just trying to register all this in like, man, he ordered tons of food. That's when the waitress comes by, and she's like, are y'all ready for dessert? I swear to you, this man goes, yes, bring the chocolate cake and the creme brulee. Mind you, that's for him, not for me. I'm sitting there calculating my life choices, and the waitress brings the bill over. I watched this man do the slowest and the most fakest pocket check I've ever witnessed. Literally, he's going into one pocket, going into the other pocket. He pauses. He's like, I forgot my wallet. I literally thought this guy was joking with me, but he was not. I look at the bill, and it is over $300. I was so pissed. I was pissed because it was not because it was over $300. I was pissed because this looked normal to him. Like, this was a normal behavior. And he ordered this food so calmly, like he's done this before. You know, he had the audacity to tell me that he would Apple Pay me. Like, sir, you just ordered this food like you own the restaurant. So I go ahead and pay the bill. Because what am I going to do? I have no other choice. Am I going to tell him to go repossess the lobster that he just ate? So then we leave, we go our separate ways, and this man had the audacity to text me and say that he had the best time. I don't know how it was the best time when we didn't even get to talk about anything. This man was chowing down all his food. He ordered the whole dang menu. He had no time to talk. I never saw that money again, and I didn't expect to, but I learned a lesson that day. If a man orders, like he has a corporate card and he forgets his wallet, that is not an accident. That was strategy on his part. I should have known whenever he was ordering all this food and seemed so unfazed. I guess I didn't in the moment put two and two together because I never thought that that would happen to me, but it did. I learned my lesson and it won't happen again.
Story time on how my spring break already got ruined before it even started. I haven't made a story time in a while, but I'm feeling kind of evil today, so I'm gonna tell you guys this story because I'm mad. So basically, we are going to Miami for spring break, and one of our friends lives in Miami, so we called him. We were like, hey, can we stay with you? Like, you're a bestie, can we stay with you? And he was like, yeah, of course. So we book our flights that night. Mind you, we told him, we were like, we're booking our flights, like, you can't, like, you need to actually make sure you're, like, not gonna, like, tell us when we get there, like, oh, just kidding, like, y'all can't stay with me. And he was like, no, like, for sure, you can stay with us, or stay with him. So we were like, okay, bet. And this guy used to go to Ole Miss, but he lives in Miami now. He doesn't actually live there, he lives somewhere else, but he tells everyone he lives in Miami, which I just found out. So we book our flights. They're non-refundable. They were $2,000 for 4, like $2,300 for 4 flights. And then me and my friend split them, but my mom bought them that night. So we buy these flights. My mom's like, are you sure you have somewhere to stay? And I was like, yeah, like, he promised me we can stay with him. So I thought. So whatever. We all go out like the next week or something. I don't know. A couple days later we go out. It's like Saturday. We see his friends out at the bar, and we're like, oh, guess who we're staying with for spring break? And they were like, who? And we told them who, and they were like, huh? And then they proceeded to tell us, oh, he's staying at my house in Miami, like, when y'all are gonna be there, so that doesn't really make sense. And I was like, I just didn't really think about it. I was like, okay, that's weird, like, maybe we'll stay in his apartment, and, like, I don't know. This is where I started, like, kind of, like, tweaking out. I was like, wait a second, what do you mean? So then I get in the car with my friend, and Ansley, if you guys know her, and I'm telling her how I'm staying with this man for spring break, how we're all staying with him. And she goes, Maggie, no way. So she calls her friend, who's also, like, an influencer, and we were all on FaceTime, and her friend, who's an influencer, is telling us how she booked a flight to Miami to stay with this man, because, like, we're all kind of friends with him, and he, like, texted her last minute and was like, never mind, you can't stay with me. And I guess he doesn't actually, he, like, everything that she was telling me was exactly what he told me. So I was like, wait, because she was like, yeah, he has an apartment in Brickell, he lives next to blah blah blah, he's gonna pick me up in his blank. And I was like, that's exactly what he told us. So, like, that's weird. So then we all try to add him to the FaceTime group chat, and he's not answering. And I was like, okay, whatever. So me and my friends who I'm going to Miami with, we all text his friend who has a house in Miami. He's answering, but then the second we text him, like, wait, is blank, blah, 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 doesn't answer, and still hasn't answered. So then I text the guy we're supposed to be staying with yesterday, and I said, hey, like, or I was texting, like, every other day, but I texted him yesterday, and I was like, hey, like, are we good, or, like, are you gonna, like, flake on us, because we just heard from someone else that you don't have an actual apartment in Miami, and you did the same thing to her that you're probably gonna do to us. He didn't answer. So we booked Airbnb today, which, like, we should have just done that to, like, start with, but why are you gonna tell us that we can stay with you and to book the flights? I set him the flights if you're gonna just flake. Like, we can afford to get an Airbnb, like, we were just trying to make it easier for ourselves. So, like, you should have just told us that, so we would have got one 2 weeks ago when they were not the amount we paid this time. But I'm kind of feeling a little more evil, so I am gonna throw another stray. His best friend, or I don't know if they're best friends anymore, who actually plays football at Ole Miss,
owes my best friend $12,000. So if you're seeing this, because you probably are, you should definitely send her that money, because, yeah. And I probably will get in trouble for saying that, but why? God, I think this is just like a learning thing for me, that I should not be friends with these people, because what do you mean you're a liar and your best friend also owes my best friend $12,000 for paying for his Miami trip a year ago? To be precise, it's been over a year, and he still owes her $12,000. So,
story time about how my brother unexpectedly passed away at the age of 26. It resulted in me cutting off my father. I have not talked to that man since. I've learned how to live without my brother. I basically suffered the loss of 2 people at one time, and I decided that I'm going to dedicate the year 2026, my last year, my 20s, to my brother, because he never made it out of his 20s. Let's get into it. So if you know me well, you know that I am my brother's biggest fan, advocate, and all of the above. Like, me and my brother, we have the same initials, MKB. My name is Malia Colleen Blake. His is Malik Khalil Blake. Growing up, even though we were 2 years apart, he's 2 years older than me, everyone thought that we were twins because our names were so similar and because we were literally always attached at the hip. Like, I was attached to my brother, and I was his most annoying little sister. I was his, like, most annoying little sister. And we had our moments. Like, growing up, I ended up going to a private school. My brother stayed in, like, the public school system for a couple of years. I felt like that kind of put a strain on our relationship because he thought that I was getting favored in certain spaces. He grew up, he ended up being queer. He was a drag queen. He had to just kind of, like, find his way in life. But by the time that he had passed away, we were both very young adults. We had both kind of, like, found our way in the world. We had the most beautiful relationship on the planet Earth. Like, my brother used to do my hair all of the time. He was a hairstylist. He taught me how to do my makeup. When I moved out here, he literally sent me hella fucking money, like, the day that I landed in DC. He was just, like, my biggest fan, and I was his biggest fan. And I also at no point thought that I was gonna have to live without my brother. Like, it never even crossed my fucking mind. Okay, so let me tell you, before I tell you how my brother passed away, I want to give you the background, just kind of like our relationship with our father, so that you can understand the second when my brother passed away, why I decided to cut off my bitch ass father, and why I don't speak to that man anymore, and why the one time that I did see him, it was beef on sight, and I literally almost fought him in the middle of a Jamaican party. So, okay, so I'm going to take it all the way back to 1994, really, because my brother was born in 1995, so in March, so obviously my parents was messing around a little bit before then. Context, I think that my dad is a creep. I think a lot of men from the 90s who were with young women are creeps, and I've shared this vocally with my mother. She knows my opinions. My dad's side of the family knows my opinions about that man, so I don't care who I offend with this video, and I don't think I'll offend too many people because not that many people like my father. I'm in the clear. Let's get going. So, my mother had my brother when she was 19. She got pregnant with him when she was 18. At the time, so my mother was 18, she had a son. She's of legal age, sounds fine. She's a consenting adult, never said that she wasn't. My father was like 32, 33 when he had my brother with my mother. Mind you, at this point, my dad already had 3 kids, including his firstborn son, who I think at that point was probably like 15 years old already. My father, well into his 30s, having a child with an 18-year-old. She ended up being 19 by the time she gave birth. So I just want you to, that's the context in which I'm giving this story. That is my father. My father is a very old school Jamaican man. He was born in Jamaica. He moved to the States, specifically to Baltimore, Maryland, I think when he was like, I think in high school. But at that point, like, he grew up in Jamaica. He still to this day has a very thick Jamaican accent. I'm not even going to go into his full background. All you need to know is I have a strict Jamaican father, and he had my brother with my mother when she was very young, and he was pushing middle age. They then went on to get married when my mother was 20 and my father was some point in his 30s. And then a year after that, at the age of 21, my mother had me, and she blessed the world with me. So at this point, my mother has 2 kids with this older Jamaican man who at this point, she is recognizing is beginning to mentally decline. And when I say mentally decline, come back for part 2, because I now have to get into this mental state, and I didn't realize I was going to have to hash this out for the video, but I'll hash it out. So come back for part 2. Okay, part 2 of my brother unexpectedly passing away at the age of 26, me then cutting off my father, learning how to live without both of those men in my life, and then finally deciding that I'm going to dedicate this year, my last year, my 20s, to my brother because he never made it out of his 20s. All right, so I left off on the last part. I think I was talking about my dad's mental health and how that had an impact on me and my brother in our upbringing. So I shared that that my dad is Jamaican. He moved here when he was in high school, and he moved to Baltimore, Maryland, which is helpful context because my dad, obviously, your parents kind of just are going to have a huge impact on you and the life that you live, and you know, they bring you into this world. Like my mother and my father, their experience in life had a direct impact on my brother, both me and my brother's upbringing. So my dad was in and out of our lives for the most part because he was literally mentally ill. I have 3 older siblings. Each one of them have a complete different experience than me and my brother growing up. They have memories of my father, of him just being like a present father who would pick them up, take them to amusement parks, take their friends out, was like at all of like their sporting activities and stuff, like very much a provider. My experience with my father and me and my brother's experience with our father was completely different because at the point that we came into the world, my father's mental health started to decline, and it had a severe impact on our life and just kind of like our upbringing. So let me get into that so that you can understand who my brother was and why I took his death so harshly, especially when it came to my father, who was absent for the most part growing up. So I mentioned that my father has mental health issues. My father, mental health issues run on his side of the family. And I will say, me personally, I'm the type of person, like, I will cut you off if you bring me any level of stress, just because I'm aware of how drastic mental health issues are kind of like pervasive on my dad's side of the family. I do think some of the stuff that happens on my dad's side of the family is also just kind of like based on your environment. I think that they had like different struggles over generations that folks were dealing with. You probably aren't really like communicating how you're feeling, talking about how folks have kind of impacted you, all of that stuff. And I think if you bottle it up for decades and decades, at some point you're going to reach your breaking point. Safe to say that's what happened with my father. He was a young boy. He came to Jamaica, dealing with moving to a whole new country, dealing with everything that he probably felt like he had to take on by himself as a young Black man at the same time in America, trying to make his way, dealing with family dynamics. I think there were a ton of things that by the point that my father at that point had 5 children in this world, was married to a 21-something-year-old girl, I think he broke. I just simply think my father broke. I do not think that he could mentally handle the pressure that he was under over the course of his life at that point when he was pushing 40. My father, I think when I was about the age of 2 or so, he basically had like a psychotic break. He ended up in a hospital. And at that point, from my understanding, I don't know if that was his first time being diagnosed, but he was diagnosed with some mental health issues. From my understanding, I think it's bipolar and schizophrenia. And from then on, he kind of just wasn't the same. All of my memories of my father are post his psychotic break. Folks that remember my father before that psychotic break, he was just a regular man. Like, I don't know how else to describe it because I just don't know that version of him. He was a regular man. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. My relationship with my father, me and my brother's relationship with our father post this episode, mind you, this episode happened when I was like 2 years old. So my entire memory of my father, and it sounds like weird to say, but growing up, whenever folks would ask me like about my dad, I would just be like, oh, he's crazy. Because at that, I didn't have the terminology nor the wherewithal to really understand like what was going on with him. I just knew that my father did not act like other men and he was crazy. Like that was just the best way that I could explain it. So much so that like my first memory of my father, and this was probably, now that I like understand the timeline a little bit more, I think this was like after he had been recently like released from the hospital or something. I was probably like no more than 4 or 5 years old. And my grandpa used to like watch me and my cousins all the time whenever our parents were just like out and about at work or something. And so we lived in like, we lived off of a main street. Like, my grandfather lived off of a main street. All of the kids would hang outside. We would ride our bikes, our scooters and everything. But at the same time, like, anybody from the public could just kind of like stroll up and just kind of like literally, for lack of better words, like have full on access to us. And so I remember one day I was playing outside with my brother, and mind you, I'm like 4, no more. I don't even want to say that I'm 5, because I know that I was not in like pre-K or anything. So I genuinely think that I was like 4 or 5 when this happened. But I just remember I looked up and there was like this homeless man coming down the street pushing his cart. And as he got closer, I realized that it was my father. Again, this is my first memory of my father. So I just, in that moment, I knew that it was my father. And for whatever reason, that's my first memory of my father. And I remember it was me and my brother and then my cousin Brandy. She probably was like no more than like 10 or 11 years old at this point. So it's Brandy who's like 10 or 11 years old. My brother, who at this point is probably like 6. And then me, who's like 4 or 5 years old. And my dad is just like telling my cousin Brandy, I'm taking my kids. My father literally put us in this grocery cart and pushed us around Long Beach for like an hour or 2. And I remember that was my first time that I felt shame and embarrassment, because I literally recall he was pushing us down the street and there was like some young dude like standing on his porch. And I remember he called my dad over, and then he gave my dad like a $20 bill or something. He was like, go get them something to eat. And I just remember thinking like, I'm not homeless. Like, this is my dad. He just picked us up. Like, I don't live like this. Like, I have a home. But I say all that to say, like, that was the extent of our relationship with our father. Our father was mentally ill. When he started to come back around, he was still very much like not in a state where he was fully capable of taking care of himself. Like, he was still just clearly not all the way there, because who in their right minds picks up these 2 very young children and pushes them around in a shopping cart? Like, he's just not fully there. Over the years, I would say his mental health got better. Like, he was able to go back to work. He always held a job. He would come around. He was driving again. He would pick us up. He would take us to church. We would go out to eat. Our other siblings, like, we would have like outings with all of our siblings and stuff. But there was always, he was unreliable, and there was always something. Like, he was easily irritated all the time. Sometimes his conversations would just bounce around. Like, I just knew that my father was off. That's the best way that I can describe it. Like, I knew that my father was off. I knew that he did not come around often. And whenever he did come around, like, it was honestly an issue. Like, I think by the time I was like 7 or 8, another memory that stands out for me is like, he came to pick up me and my brother again from my grandfather's house. And I will say, like, this is important. My grandfather was our father figure. Like, my grandfather picked us up from school. He was there whenever I had like award ceremonies. Like, my grandfather for the longest time stood in place of my father. Like, that was the only male figure in my life, and that is who me and my brother looked up to. So he picked us up from my grandfather's one time, and I remember my dad, he picked us up in this like beat up pickup truck. No sooner had we pulled away from my grandfather's house, I don't know what my father said, but at this point I'm literally only 7 or 8, and I had a sailor's mouth. Like, I used to curse so much as a kid. My mother literally used to wash my mouth out with soap. Like, that's a whole other story. But I was also very overprotective of my brother, and my brother was like, he wasn't shy, but my brother was just kind of like, I was a talkative kid. I was like always getting in trouble, like very just like outspoken. My brother wasn't shy, but he kept to himself. Like, he wasn't the kid that's just gonna be sitting there like chit chatting. Like, if he felt some type of way, he just kind of like kept it to himself. I don't know what the fuck my dad said to my brother. I remember being 7 or 8 years old and like cussing my dad out. And he literally turned the car around, dropped us back off at my grandfather's house. And I remember my grandpa just opened up the screen door, and all you see is like little me getting out of the back of the pickup truck cussing my dad out. But I say all of that to say, like, that was our dynamic growing up with our father. Like, he was not present, he was not there, and it was a very tumultuous relationship. Like, he had his own mental health issues, and that he was trying to work out through decades. Also, like, very much in denial of the fact that he was mentally ill, so he was not getting any type of help, and I don't think he has ever gotten any type of help. And then you have 2 kids that you're also responsible for, but not really, because their mother is raising them. At the same time, I'm not giving my father a pass or anything. Like, he clearly was dealing with his mental health issues and stuff, But that didn't take from the fact that my brother needed a male figure growing up. I needed my father growing up. So we were navigating life and dealing with all of the things that young kids deal with as they're learning about themselves or coming into their own. They have needs, and it's just their mother trying to figure it out all by themselves. And eventually, like, the relationship with my father was just non-existent. Like, we just didn't speak to him for a couple of years. And I remember at some point in high school, I just made the decision that I was going to work on that relationship, and I was going to be more intentional about that relationship. And I think at the same point, like, my father was just in a little bit of a better space. And so, like, senior year, I think he started coming around more. Like, he bought me a car. He was showing up in ways that I felt like a father should. And so for me, I was like, okay, well, he's trying, like, we can have a better relationship. At that point, mind you, my brother is 2 years older than me. My brother, like, did not give a fuck. Like, my brother had already graduated high school. He was already working. He was in cosmetology school. Like, my brother did not think that this man could do anything for him, could serve him any type of purpose. And so I remember, like, as I'm working on with my relationship with my father, I used to be like, Malik, like, come on, like, I'm going out with daddy, or daddy's coming to pick me up. My brother, like, did not give a damn. My brother did not give a damn. Come to find out, and I found this out from my dad's bitch ass wife, F her. My dad had an issue with my brother being gay. And in my head, like, that was never an issue. It's a non-issue. But that was my father's, like, biggest gripe. And I'm like, this is your baby son. This is your baby boy. Like, who gives a fuck if he's gay? Like, he's the best drag queen in all of Long Beach. Like, he's that girl. Like, what is there to be? I couldn't process it at all. But looking back, and, like, me and my brother have also had extensive conversations about this before he passed away. Like, my father's absence did a number on my brother. Like, there's no way to beat around that. Like, my brother grew up. He did not have a male figure. There's just no better way to say that. And so I felt like as we were entering our early adulthood and my father was trying with me to have a better relationship, you need to be trying with your son as well. Like, you have 5 kids and we're the last 2 children. You can't just focus on me and what my needs are. You also need to focus on your son and make sure that he's doing well and take care of him as well, and, like, mend that relationship that you clearly effed up growing up. So I say all of that to say my father is severely mentally ill, but able to hold down a job. He's able to be, like, a regular fucking person in society. I think that my dad just, like, has anger issues. He gets triggered easily. He also has a history of psychotic breaks. And so if he doesn't like something, if he feels some type of way, he thinks that the world's against him. He thinks folks are trying to attack him, and he doesn't take any accountability. Like, he just does not acknowledge the fact that you brought 2 kids into the world. You're responsible for those 2 kids. Like, I didn't ask to be here. My brother didn't ask to be here. You helped bring us into this world. My mother has held up her end of the bargain. Why don't you do the same? And because you did not do the same, you cannot feel entitled or upset about how anyone perceives you or interacts with you. So that is a summary of my relationship with my father, and the lack thereof of the relationship with my brother. And I will say also, like, I said it earlier in the video, my grandfather was our father. Like, I don't know where it's tattooed at, but I have my grandfather's birthday. Like, my grandfather was our father, and my grandfather passed away when I was like 13. My brother was 15 at that point. Life got worse when my grandfather passed away because he was, like, the male figure in our life. Like, he was reliable. He was picking us up from school. He was, like, he stepped up to the plate in every sense of the word. And it was the point that, like, my grandfather would, like, watch us after school, or we would just walk to his house after school sometimes. My mom would get off work and come pick us up, and she would, like, be taking us home. My brother would stay there. Like, my brother spent most of his time with my grandfather. So when my grandfather passed away, and then also not having a dad, like, my brother, his experience, like, sometimes it just makes me so sad because I'm like, he did not have a single male figure that he could look up to. And I know it had an impact on him. And any time my brother felt slighted or felt some type of way, I was taking it personal and I was on your head. Like, I did not play about my brother. So that's just kind of like our background and everything. This next video that I'm gonna do is gonna be about kind of early adulthood, my brother's life, and then how he passed away, if I can get into that. I'm trying to speed through this so I could just tell you guys how my brother died and the bullshit that my father did, which is why we're not talking again, and then like how I'm celebrating my brother and everything. But I'm realizing it's gonna take a little bit of time because this video took me 14 minutes just to talk about how my daddy wasn't there. But okay.
All right, y'all. So the years have gone, 5 years have gone by since the situation. So now that I'm at a headspace to speak, I feel like now would be a time to do the story time on how I felt about the situation. This is not to drag the situation. This is not to make him look bad. This is not me being angry at him or her. This is just my way to express how I feel about the situation now that I'm able to talk about it, because y'all, when I say I couldn't even speak on this situation like 4 years ago, I could not speak on this without crying. Like, y'all, I couldn't even think about the situation. It was just killing me. But now that I'm able to talk and express about how I feel about it, I feel like this will be the time, because like now the case is over and all that, I can, you know, talk and say things that I feel. So this is my story time. This is about my recollection. This is about my feelings, not nobody else. This is just about me. So yeah. Story time about how my boyfriend was unalived with another girl. Okay, how I'm gonna start, I'm gonna just start at how the day went. Like, now let me go back to our past. Like, let's just talk about us first. So we had been together for almost 4 years at the time. It was almost 5 years. So 4 years at the time. This happened back in 2021. It's 2026 now, so yeah. But we were together 4 years prior to that, so yeah. We hadn't had a kid together, all this, so y'all, we were together. At the time, I had just graduated nursing school. I had got me a good job working. It was during COVID time, so it was a good COVID nursing job. If you was a nurse back then, you know. So, I started working doing the COVID stuff, and he was working at the factory at the time. So yeah, he was working at the factory, and I was doing COVID nursing. That day, out of all days, I don't know what happened, but he was like, we got up that day, it was a normal day, a normal everyday thing. Like, he got up, was getting ready for work, and gave me a kiss, and goodbye. It was about 5 o'clock. He used to go to work at about 5 o'clock. So I get up and go to work. I have to be at work till like 8 o'clock. So I get up, get my daughter ready, take her to Head Start, and then I would drive back to go to work. So that day was just, all things was just weird. Like, it was just stuff happening that never happens. So that day, it was a regular COVID day. Like, so mind you, the volume of people that's getting tested for COVID was like, at that time, it was like 40 plus people, like 40 plus cars in a line to get tested for COVID. I mind you, this is what this was back then. So that morning we were taking like COVID calls. Like, it was just a lot going on with COVID. Like, this is when COVID first came out. So it was so much going on in that. Where I worked was the main place that took care of COVID stuff. So that's why they had specific nurses to do COVID stuff. So we were the main source to get COVID information from, all that. So around noon was when we took lunch. Took lunch around noon, and then he ended up calling me around that time. So he was like, I got off earlier today. So mind y'all, another thing. My birthday was a week before this. It was a week after, sorry. My birthday was going to be the next week after all this happened. So I'm getting ready for my birthday. So I was getting a wax for the first time, and I need the cream to get the wax. So he called me. He was like saying he got off early. That day, out of all days, he got off at 12 o'clock. It never happened. Like, that never happens. So he got off at 12, he said. So I'm like, cool. So when you get a chance, could you go by the store and get me some cream, like the little numbing stuff to when you get a wax? I don't know if people use that, but that was my first time. So I was like, I need that to try because I'm scared. So I was like, can you get me some of that or whatever when you get a chance or whatever? So boom, he like, yeah. We talk, and then we get out the phone. So y'all, 2 o'clock roll around. That's when we start doing our COVID testing. So we start doing the COVID testing at 2 o'clock, and we ended at 4. So mind y'all, this line is down the road. But, I mean, it's nothing to me because I've been doing it for a little minute, so it was easy. And then I had other people helping. So mind you, line down the road. But I had my phone propped up on the table that we used to kind of get our materials together. So I see him FaceTime, but like, y'all, it's so busy. I can't even stop and just do nothing. I'm like, listen, I can't even call. I can't even answer that right now. I'm going to get him in just a second. But I see that he ended up leaving like some messages or whatever. So I'm like, let me check my phone. I can at least do that. So y'all checked my phone and he sent me a picture of the little spray I was trying to get. And he was like, is this the one? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's the right one. So he like, cool. He gets the spray. He take it to his house. Because at that time, I stayed with him and his mom and dad. Like, we lived all together at the time. Because, y'all, that year, I was doing a lot. Like, I was buying a house and everything. This house I'm in now. I was buying this house. So we was, like, saving and just staying with our parents. Because, y'all, I was trying to get me an apartment. But he was like, nah, I don't get no apartment. Just do what we doing. So we stay with his parents or whatever. So he takes the spray to his mom's house, and he tells me it's there, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I text like at 4. Was it 4? Yeah, we got done doing the cover session at 4. So that's downtime for us. Like when it's 4 o'clock, we getting all the stuff together to ship it off. So we getting out of the basket, but I have time to like look at my phone and check stuff. So I text him, I'm like, where you at? Yada yada, like checking in. He at a specific place. So, mind you, this not a place that he's not normally at. Like, this just a regular old, like, place he always at. Like, if he ain't somewhere, he here. So, yeah.
Give me the bat, Marge. Give me the bat. Give me the bat. Come on. Give me the bat. Give me the bat.
Okay, so part 2 on how my boyfriend was unalive with another girl. So, yeah, he was at a place where he usually be. It's not, like, just a random place. He always there, he always there. So, I didn't kind of side-eye when he said he was there, like, that's just normal. So, I went on about the rest of the day. Because I told you I had a wax appointment after, that day when I got off. So, once I got off, I went to his mom. Well, we stayed at his mom's house. So, I went home and freshened up and got ready for the wax. So, my packages for my birthday done came in. Y'all, I'm feeling so good. Like, I'm feeling so good. So, I'm feeling so good, y'all. I get to the wax appointment and... like, we haven't had no communication since that last one when he told me where he was. So, how it was back then, like, it got to a point where I just didn't, like, hound him. I, like, kind of let him be. Because he was, like, the type to be, like, outside. Like, he was outside. So, he just moved around a lot. Like, he wasn't in the house till about 8, 9 o'clock. It was normal for him. So, I didn't really get to where I just stopped, like, hounding, like, where you at? I stopped doing it. So... I went to get the wax. I still didn't call. I just still didn't call and didn't get any communication through him. So my wax lady so far, she got done in like 20, no more than 30 minutes. So I head back home. So at that point, it had been like an hour and a half. Like it's like at this point, it's like 5:20. So he that's why I'm like, let me call him. Like I done got that out the way. So let me call him and like see where he is to check in. See, I'm checking in. So he didn't answer the phone, y'all. So y'all, mind y'all, he's outside, like, he's the type, like, he outside, his phone in his pocket. He not gonna answer the phone like this. So he didn't answer the phone, so I didn't think nothing of it. He didn't answer the phone, like, okay, cool. So I get home, y'all. I get back home. Mind y'all, my package done came in for my birthday outfits. So my birthday outfits, I'm trying them on, y'all. Like, I'm like feling good. So y'all, I get a inbox like from somebody I don't even like, talk to. I'm like, why is she hitting me up? Like, I think she called me and I didn't answer. I'm like, what is she calling me for? So I'm like, let me text and see what's going on. So she texts me. She was like, call me. So yeah, I called her on Facebook. Soon as she answered immediately and all I heard was her crying. I'm like, what's going on? Like, what's going on? So y'all, the words that she was like, she basically said that my baby had been shot, like, y'all. So I'm like, what? So as soon as she said that, like, I was standing in the doorway of like the room, and like his mom was in the hallway, his daddy was like about to leave. So somehow they was just right there. So I'm like, somebody just called me and said that so and so, being shot. So y'all, we rambling, like, I don't have no bra on. My daughter, she ain't got no shoes on, no pants on. She just got this t-shirt on. We just grabbing and going. We don't even know where we're going. We just get in the car. So we get in the car. I don't know how it went. I don't know if his brother was already at the scene or he got the call too and already had made it there. But somehow he sent the location to his mom. So we got the location on where to go. But y'all, we in the car, and the person say what house. They like where he at, and they say the house. And they say the girl name. I'm like, I don't know the person name. So y'all, it's still not dawning on me that it's like another girl. Like I know it's another girl, but it's not dawning on me that it's like that type of situation. I'm thinking it's like, okay, he just over there with somebody else. He just so happened to beat her. Like a lot of things start racing in my mind, like scenarios. But it being somebody that he's dealing with was the last thing. So y'all, we make it to the house. We get there, and it was like crime scene tape around the house. Like you can walk up to the house, but you couldn't go past the tape. So it was just us out there, and like all the people investigating, like you know how you see like movies when they all out there like doing the forensic and all that. All that was going on. All type of trucks out there. So we walking up, and like I don't know, some man just randomly come up and was like, whoever in this black car is not looking good. Like he's in the house. But I'm still like lost. Like I'm like, what is he doing here? So y'all, we walk up and I see his car. It's parked in the driveway, like with no care. Like it's there, like comfortably. Like it's comfortable. So I'm knowing he here comfortably. Like okay. So y'all, we get up to the house, and like the lead investigator is outside at this point, and she asking like who we are. So we say who we are, and she like saying he's in there, y'all. But in the midst of all this, y'all, I get a phone call from one of my friends. She like, where you at? We at the hospital. And I'm like, at the hospital? So y'all, a little spark came in me like, okay, maybe they got the wrong person. Maybe it was more than just him, her. Y'all, no. She's like, no, I thought y'all was here. Y'all, it all just went downhill again for me. So again, they confirming that he's the one that's in there, saying it was him. So I'm just like in shock. Like I couldn't even say anything. Like I'm just lost. Like I couldn't believe what was happening. Like this can't be for real. Mind y'all, it's August out there. In Tennessee in August it's hot. So y'all, when they say this, like I'm holding my baby, and it's like I can't even breathe, y'all. Like this can't be for real. Like I'm hot out here, and they like, I don't know what to do. First thing I can think to do is to call my folks though, y'all, because I don't know. So I call my mom and my sister. I'm letting them know like this is for real. Like this not happening. Like they just bawling. Like when I tell you my family loved him, they loved him, y'all. Like they loved him like I loved him.
I was just on the phone with my Gen Z brother telling him that every night I've been drinking cherry juice with seltzer water and magnesium in it.
Part 3 on how my boyfriend was unalive with another girl. Alright, y'all. So I got the phone with my folks, and then I got myself together, and I went back towards like where the people were. So when I got over there, they were still like asking questions. Like they asked me about his phone password. They asked me a few other questions. So in the midst of these, like people are like pulling up. Like the word gets out quick. So people are pulling up, like his family, the girl's family, they pulling up. So y'all, mind you, I don't know them, they don't know me. I can't remember who it was, but like it was her folks. So one of her folks was like, who are you, his sister? Yeah. So I'm in confusion, like, no, I'm his girlfriend. Y'all, it gets silent. Y'all, it gets silent, so I just walk away, because like, I mean, I still don't know what the hell going on. So I mean, I don't know. So family still pulling up. It's getting dark outside. And in my mind, like, I'm telling them, like, I don't want to leave here till I see with my own 2 eyes him come out of this house. So we out there for hours. We didn't leave. Well, they didn't bring him out till like 11 o'clock p.m. that night. So they asked like me and like his parents, like, do we want to see him? And I'm like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see him in a state that is not normal. So, and mind y'all, this is my first time experiencing something so close. Like, I never experienced a death this close, like beside me. So his parents decide to, go over there and, see him. And all I hear is like, crying and crying. So I knew then this was like, I ain't no going back. Like, this is what it's finna be. So I told y'all his car's in the driveway. So they had to tow the car. So they get the car on the tow truck and they're driving away, y'all. I told y'all my little girl, she's still out here. She's still out here getting passed around by everybody because she don't have no shoes on and she's getting heavy to me. So everybody, like, you know, taking turns passing her around. But she still see the car going away. So she like, Daddy, like, Daddy car, like, y'all, she's only like one, about to be 2. But she's well aware of her dad. Like, he's been there since day one. So she's well aware of his car, him, everything about him. So after that, I'm like, yeah, we can go on and, you know, go home. So we get home, y'all. This is my time to soak all this in. Like, I'm laying down. I'm thinking, like, this is my reality. Like, he's never walking back in this room. He never coming in here playing, you know. He ain't never coming in here slamming my little girl, like, slamming our little girl on the bed playing. He ain't never coming back to do none of this. And y'all, as the weeks go by, like, this is hitting me hard. Like, y'all, I'm not eating. I'm barely sleeping because I'm so used to sleeping with him. Like, it was so hard. So it got so hard for me to sleep. Like, I had to have somebody in that bed with me. So his auntie packed a bag and stayed for 2 weeks. She stayed with me for 2 weeks. And y'all, appreciate this so much because that helped me, you know, get that out of my system. So then I'm going back to work. Like, all I can think about doing is going back to work. Like, I got to get out of this house. I got to get my mind together. So, mind you, all this, like, the funeral, everything passes by. But, I mean, I'm still going to work. But, like, I'm at work. I'm finding any little thought of this is hitting me. Like, y'all, I'm going somewhere to get these cries out, y'all, because I could not control any thought of it. It just made me so emotional. Like, I could not control it, even at work. But I made it to where I would, you know, go be by myself and get myself together. I get that cry out and I'm cool. Little did I know, y'all, this was going to take so much time. Like, when I say it took me so long to, like, be okay, like, I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't even eat, y'all. When I say I lost weight, I was skinny. I hate to see myself like that. Like, looking back at pictures, I hate it because I'm like, Lord, I got so skinny. And mind you, let me go back a little bit. So, I forgot, y'all. That next week was my birthday, y'all. And I had not lost 80 pounds. Like, I was nothing. Like, I was little to nothing. But his family, like, they trying to, like, you know, make me feel okay. You know, try to let me enjoy my birthday, you know, turn me up, just get me into spirit, y'all. But it's not really working, y'all. It's still in the back of my head, like, he ain't here. But like I said, as time goes on, like, I'm in my mind, like, we had this little girl. She was about to be 2 that year. But now she's 7. So I'm like, I got to get myself together. Like, I can't be, you know, just drowning. Because who else finna, you know, be the parent? Like, I got to be the parent. And that day that he did, you know, pass away was the first day of class, y'all. First day of me. Because how my journey is now, I was doing my LPNs RN, but I had prereqs that I had to do. So, y'all, I couldn't even do that. But y'all, a year or 2 down the line, I got my prereqs done and I started, you know, trying to pursue getting into LPN to RN. And that same year, I stayed at the house, getting the house. The house came. Everything was like piecing together, but y'all, he was missing from the puzzle. Now, I got that off my chest, y'all. I feel a lot better doing this. I probably need to do this at some point, and I feel like this was a point that I could do it at. And I know y'all had some questions in the comments. That spray was called, who was that spray? It was lidocaine. Some lidocaine spray. I think I put it in the comments, but I can't remember what it was called, the brand. But it's lidocaine. And another question y'all had was she, like, you know, unalive too? Yes. To answer that question, yes. But I'm not getting into detail about her because this is not what the TikTok for, and I don't want to make anybody feel no way about nothing. And I know a lot of folks wanted to see if I was, like, upset, mad. Y'all, I have no one to be mad at. The people I could have had a madness to aren't here. Like, I can't be mad at no one. with that being said, I had to heal, like, on my own. Like, I couldn't get the proper, like, you know, reason why. I couldn't get the proper, like, you know, what happened. Like, I never got the real proper nothing from nothing. Like, I had to go to the court and, like, you know, get my truth. Like, I had to go and see what happened, y'all. I went to both trials, because one trial was a mistrial and the other one we got our justice. So I had to go through all that by myself, y'all. I had to do this. Like, it was my way of getting through this. Like, this is my way of getting to this right now. Like, I had to get my closure. And I got my closure, y'all. So this is why I'm able to do this TikTok and, you know, explain my story and how I feel. But I am not mad. I'm not mad, and I'm not upset. I am hurt about it, because I did have to, you know, heal myself through this, but I think I did pretty good. So thank y'all for listening, and I don't think I missed any other questions, but if y'all do, just leave them in the comments. And for the record, he was not at their location. Like, when I went to the court to, you know, get the truth, he couldn't have been where he said he was when he said he was. And guess what, y'all? I can't be mad, because who can I be mad at? But y'all, he wasn't there. And also, when I did call, when I said I called, he didn't answer, y'all. He had done passed away. He had passed away, like, in the midst of, like, our last conversation, when he was telling me where he was, y'all. Again, I do appreciate y'all for listening. This wasn't an easy thing, y'all, because I have not spoke on this none. Like, I probably to a couple of my friends, but, like, the world has never heard me speak about this. So I'm glad y'all have been supportive and have let me speak and say what I need to say. I do appreciate y'all. Thank you and goodbye. And I know y'all gonna ask, but the person that done it was someone that, you know, was upset with her. She had dealings with him, I guess, in the past, so it was just anger.